Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn are doing well. I don't know what's running behind here that is gunking up my stuff. I don't know what's gunking up my stuff. I'm waiting for I am waiting for something to come in. So I'm sitting right by the phone waiting for a vote right now because the meeting's still going on. But I left here at like 8 o'clock this morning, and Delilah's been here all day. So I had to come and let her out. She had a diaper on, and of course she's got potty pads, but still she needs to get up and run and play and stuff like that. I wasn't expecting it to go. I figured I'd be back here 1, 2 o'clock. I had no idea that this one freaking issue, it seems like it's common sense, which is what is missing in our freaking government. I'm sorry. I just hate stupid stuff, but it was stupid stuff. So we're going to go over some of that. But since we're starting so extremely late, hi guys. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thursday. The good news is tomorrow is Friday, right? And the day is almost over. So it's just been very busy. Hopefully you guys has been as busy as me because you don't have time to really think much when you're just on the go, 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 go. Busy Mama, it's nice to see you. The real me too. Sasha, good afternoon. Kendra, I hear it's Kendra's birthday. Ooh, ooh. You should have expected this. How many shows have you done with me already? She pops her head up like I terrified her. Happy birthday, Kendra. Yay. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha. Didn't somebody put cha-chas in there last time? Happy birthday to you, Cha-Cha. Happy birthday, dear Kendra. Happy birthday to you. And a kiss from me. Happy birthday. I don't have the hat because it's all the way in there and I wasn't realizing it was your birthday today. So happy birthday. Anybody else's birthday in the month, happy birthday. Happy birthday. It's nice to see you all. Where was I? I went up too far. Okay, there you are. Kendra, then we had Jana. B. Betty is up in the house. Prayer Warrior. D. Mystery. Obsessed. If I just read what's there, I'll be okay. Sadie, it's nice to see you. Feisty Mama. Wheezy Girl. It's nice to see you. Pebbles. Beautiful Pebbles. Pebbles. I don't know what made me think of that. I think it's because I was thinking about where's the Bam Bam, you know? And then I realized, you guys know Delilah's in her first heat, right? And so everything's been kind of good. I've been, the first 3 days, she didn't really know what was going on. She knew something, she looked terrified. I don't know what to tell you. She just stayed in my lap and she just kept looking at me like, Mommy, make it go away. And there's nothing I can do about it. But, she's a female. And so I let her out to use the potty and stuff like that. It's not my first female I've ever had. I always know when they go in heat, there's a strange dog that wanders up on your yard. Well, she's been in heat for almost a week. I'm thinking, okay, well, good. I'm glad my neighbors got all their dogs taken care of. And I go out because my car's getting painted. So I go out and Glenn's out in the driveway or not Glenn. He wasn't here yet. I was taking everything out because I had finally just settled Delilah down. And so I wanted to get out of the house before she started getting, whiny again. And so I was waiting out front. And as I was walking out front, there's a scraggly little dog. I mean, this dog, it was a junkyard dog. Okay. And everything sniffing around my front yard. And I'm like, nope. You get your scraggly little hair ass off my yard. I'm just joking. I didn't yell at him. I'm just like, she's not here and I ain't bringing her out, but you could tell that little scraggly little thing sniffing for all up in the yard. Tell you what, it better be a good looking dog, not a scraggly one. I'm sorry. I should stop. Caroline, Shar, it's nice to see you. Donna, good afternoon. Oma, MTB, YouTuber, it's nice to see you. Michelle, Nanny needs a Zanny. Hey, hey, hey. Peggy, it's nice to see you. Prayer warrior. Christy, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Angie Beth, it's nice to see you. Michelle, good afternoon. JH, our beautiful unicorn, Indiana. Nice to see you, my love. Cheyenne, Lisa Ann, hello, hello. What else do we have? I think I said hi to all you. P.S. It's nice to see you. You know who I always miss? I miss a lot of people. But somehow I always seem to miss Merle's mom. And I always seem to miss Sorta Morta. I don't know how. I know they're here. And I just always miss them. Maria, it's nice to see you. Narita, it's nice to see you. Amanda, hey, 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 hey. It's nice. Oh, TD Dean, it's nice. Oh, Melanie, it's nice to see you. Samantha, good afternoon. Grace upon grace. Carol loves embroidery and crime shows. We're happy to have you. Mona, it's nice to see you. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. Nutter, it's nice to see you, Tanya. Hey, 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 BJ. Lori, it's nice to see you. BMW Coupe. You know what BMW means? Bring money with you. That's all it means. That's all it means. Pamela, it's nice to see you. Stephanie, Caroline. Oh, I think I said hi. Aletha, hello, hello, hello. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Gifted one Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't be rude and say thank you. And welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. The Insane Asylum. It's fun in the Insane Asylum. We got padded rooms, y'all. And we got games like how to get out of the jacket. Mickey Shell, it's nice to see you. KCCC. Oh, come on. Tell me something good. Are they still there arguing about this one piece of property? Good gracious. Did we get a vote? Patty, it's nice to see you. Hode Own. Is Smiley's World in here? Did I miss her? How the hell did I miss Smiley's World? Hey, Smiley. It's nice to see you. Ah, there she is. I see you now. I see ya. I see ya. Coming up now. Okay, guys, I got to turn this on. I got to listen to this freaking vote. I want to listen to this. They're going to be talking for another half hour. Good gracious. Okay, we'll keep going. Graham, Psychic Amelia, it's nice to see you. Gypsy, did I see Gypsy in here? I thought I saw Gypsy in here. Hindsight, it's nice to see you. Hey, 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 hey. I know I'm missing a bunch of people, but we're going to go ahead and get... Oh, Sweet Misery, it's nice to see you. All right, I'm finally at the bottom. I missed a whole lot of people. Hey, guys, it's nice to see you. And the ones that are just sitting there because you got to work and you can't type and you just want to listen. Bullhorn Betty saying hi to you. And those ones deep in the forest, kind of spying. Hey, you like me more than you think. All right, so where are we? We are covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He was 15 years old when he disappeared on February 26th. According to law enforcement, his mother called around 6:33 in the morning. Well, not his mother, his stepfather, while mom was on three-way, but they didn't say that. They did. Long story short, 6:33, call came in to a non-emergency dispatch line. And what we've learned from there is that he was last seen on February 26th, but law enforcement says he was never seen on camera, never seen by an eyewitness, and there is no dog tracking his scent. I don't quite get it, but that's what they're saying. They're saying he was last seen on the 26th, but they're saying nothing has detected or seen him on the 26th. So you're going to have to figure it out. That's why I'm using February 25th. It keeps me safe. It's the last corroborated time that he was seen at all was on the cameras of the Texas Roadhouse as far as the public is concerned. And based on those two conflicting statements from law enforcement, I'm going to use the 25th. Moving forward, until that is resolved or that is explained by law enforcement or by somebody that knows specifically, not hypothetically, but specifically which day he was physically seen by a third party other than the mom's statement. Hopefully we get there. But along the way, we realize that the stepfather has some problems. Okay. We've seen we've seen his behavior personally, and many of us frown upon his just normal customary behavior. We can tell that he doesn't seem to think that any of his conduct is problematic. And that's, I think, for a lot of us, at least for me, one of the most concerning parts about this is that he is so, I don't even know how to explain it. What's the proper word to use? I mean, he is so ignorant to the way the rest of the world acts. I mean, we're all from different walks of life. We're all from different backgrounds, different incomes, different ethnicities. We're like, the true crime community really is a melting pot of people. So cavalier, rude, arrogant, damn liar. Right. But we've all watched these behaviors, but this melting pot of whole personalities all seem to have a problem with that or consider that a red flag. And we've known that deep in our gut that there's just something not right here with this guy. And he seems so unaware of what real child abuse is, that he thinks his parenting and discipline is just being a strict parent. Like, he is so disconnected with reality. And I think we've all experienced it, at least the ones that are looking at the stepfather in a different lens. Well, then comes along one of his ex-wives, the only ex-wife that I'll just say, I don't want to like put anybody else down, because clearly he has been very violent. And some of the stories I've heard from reliable sources are very hard to hear. To me, I'm not surprised we're here with him. But the problem is, I don't feel like he's the one responsible, if that makes sense. But there's more information that we don't know. And a lot of people believe he was in the area at the time this child disappeared. So we don't have a lot of supporting information related to that. It could be true. It could not be true. We really don't even know that much. What we do know is that there was a conversation that he had with some content creators about his truck being picked up by the FBI CART team, and made some very obnoxious, but it just goes to his character as a human being. He's got a missing stepson, and he's like, those SOBs didn't even realize it was mine. You know, he's boastful and bragging to content creators that believe they're, especially ET, it sounds like he, he's just, I don't know why he's so gravitated toward them if he's really about the truth, but it seems like he's asking a lot of questions that are making some of the other people feel uncomfortable, because the answers they're not either not getting or they're shady, because we've listened to some of these answers. But one of the things we always do is look at past behavior and what does the history tell, you know? And it's not like history does mean certain things, but just because you've had a bad or checkered history doesn't mean you're responsible for any of the current events, if that makes sense. but you still want to look at everybody in and around to find out what is, who they are, what were their past behaviors, were there any indications of correcting, because people do correct behaviors, depending on if they really want to correct the behaviors. I heard one person in here, I think yesterday, say once an abuser, always an abuser. And that is true because they don't choose to change. They don't choose to change. I've seen a lot of people redeem themselves because a lot of the things that they were dealing with, and it comes along with one of the votes I'm waiting on today, is about a facility being allowed to continue to work in our community, and it's a drug rehabilitation type of center, live-in center, inpatient type of center that we want to keep we can't lose them. And since they're only at 60% occupancy, it's like, we do have some beds there that can get some, people off the streets, like homeless vets that have some substance abuse problems, get them checked in there. We got less homeless vets on our street. And it's just a lot of stuff. But you learn in those groups and in those rooms, you have to have the will to change in order to have a different path. And I do believe that people can change. It's just, do they want to change? So yes, in theory, once an abuser, always an abuser, but it's because they choose not to change. Nina Gomez is the ex-wife of Christopher Proudfoot, and we watched about half of her interview that she had. I can't remember exactly when she had it. It was several months ago. I want to say around April or May. This is because we can't see the original one. It's been either deleted, privatized, or whatever. I don't know the specific date of it. This is somebody that recorded it and uploaded it. So there would be a clear copy for people to use. And it's called Missing in Plain Sight, or not Missing in Plain Sight. What is it? That's a movie. That's a series. I just thought about that. It's something I watched a while ago. It was from, I got their little card here. Missing in Plain Sight. Oh, that's kind of cool. They had a little series called Missing in Plain Sight. So, long story short, she had just went through a very emotional plea for her daughter. She talked about how Chris and his family plotted to get her here to take her daughter because he didn't want to pay child support. And they created this situation where the children, her other children from a different father, were split apart from her new baby. And so when dear sweet Aunt Melissa drops them, the two kids that aren't the family of the Proudfoots, off, when Kathy was supposed to drop Faith off, she sent her attorney with divorce papers and a restraining order or something like that, and took Faith and would not give her back. And she had a fight for her daughter. And finally, she got her daughter back. She had another judge rule over the matter. He saw through what had happened. He ordered her daughter back in her custody. And then she took back off to Albuquerque, New Mexico. They had just seen the signs for New Mexico, and she started feeling relief. And that's kind of where we ended it yesterday. So we're going to pick it up. I have rewound it about a minute just for the people that were here yesterday can remember kind of where we were. For those that are just coming in and this is the first time that you've seen this, you might want to go back to part 1 and part 2. This is part 3, and it's only because in part 1, something happened. We came across a post. It kind of knocked the wind out of me. I couldn't even think about what Nina was saying after it. So I just ended the live, and then we waited until the afternoon, did part 2, and now we're on part 3. We're going to be here for quite a while. There's about another hour, maybe hour and a half left on this. Plus we stop and commentate. So we're going to be here at least 2.5, maybe between 2 and 3 hours. So you guys can come and go, obviously, as you guys would like. Those that are here for the long haul, get yourself something to drink. If you guys need to use the restroom, you guys don't see me. I think I'm doing okay. I think I'll be able to get through this, but if push comes to shove, I might need to excuse myself depending on how long we run. So here we go, guys. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate each and every one of you. This is credit to Missing in Plain Sight. Again, thank you for capturing this footage, because without this one, I think Justin did one, but again, he had, just like what we're doing here, commentated through it. This was just the straight interview. So God bless Missing in Plain Sight for putting this out. I do appreciate that, as well as the people here looking into this in this case with Sebastian Rogers.
We couldn't sleep. So then we drove all the way home. We were all scared. We didn't know what was going to happen. We drove. The relief that I had just to see, I've never felt so relieved to see that New Mexico. Welcome to New Mexico time.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Jackie. Take care of yourself, love bug. Oh.
We drove. The relief that I had just to see, I've never felt so relieved to see that New Mexico. Welcome to New Mexico time.
This is where we left off yesterday.
Finally, we made it. Chris kept calling, and I avoided him like a plague. Because the judge in Tennessee awarded me custody. He had no jurisdiction over Faith or myself or my other two children. And at the time of all this, they brought CPS involved in that case over there. So we get home here, not even a couple days goes by. He ended up calling CPS on us here. And using CPS against me every chance that he got. Showing up to my kids at school. Scaring my kids. Just like he did in Tennessee. So I filed for divorce here, which I should have filed on tribal land at the time. Because I wouldn't be going through this. So the divorce happened, but it dragged on and on and on because Christopher made a big deal about absolutely everything. I had to ask for permission to leave Bernalillo County. I had to tell him what I was doing and if I left.
Does anybody believe Chris could possibly be controlling? I don't believe it. Oh, okay. I guess nobody else is with me on that statement. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
New Mexico, he had to know. I am part Native American. So our reservation is probably about 4 to 5 hours from Albuquerque. And at the time, my grandmother was still alive. So we would go out there to see her. And he really never wanted me to take Faith out there. And on top of that, he really never wanted Faith to be Native American. Christopher knew that I was Mexican American and also Native American, but he hated the fact that, and he still hates the fact that Faith is part Native American. So,
which doesn't make sense.
I mean, just everything, he would take me back.
I thought Chris was part Native American. Proudfoot is, am I missing something here? I mean, I'm not the smartest, tool in the shed when it comes to ethnicity and I'm not that invested in it, right? It doesn't matter to me. I mean, hell, I don't even know what I am. When I did my ancestry DNA, I still can't figure out what my predominant stuff is. I got white skin, but you should see how I'm a Heinz 57. Okay. And they get down to like 1% of this, 1% of this, anything a percent or more they list. Okay. It's Scottish. But I thought Proudfoot was Native American. Are we? I don't know. So if Trooper's mom's saying it's Scottish, he seems too big for Scottish. He's big. Irish and Scottish people, aren't they tiny? Because I have a lot of Irish in me. I'm short. And I got a little, you can, like when I'm out in the sun, you can kind of see the little bit of hints of red in my hair. Very, very hints. But you got to use a special bleach on my hair because it will turn ash. And that's that orangey looking hair. How's he going to treat when she's sassy? That's exactly what I'm saying. It sounds like there were already problems just on her last visit from everything I heard. But again, it was just rumor. I'm not going to talk. I don't know whether it's true. Well, I guess it's been talked about that he, popped Faith in the mouth. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what was circulating behind the scenes, So is it true? Is it not? I don't know. But, and that's, I think, what is she, 6 now? I don't understand why this man cannot get into his thick skull. Kids can be too young and too old. Now she's 6. She's probably in the range that I would say, rearing would work. But not, he's got such a history of abuse. I don't know. I don't know. But
back to court for just everything.
I don't like him.
It wasn't a good divorce. And the parenting plans, it had to be his way or nobody's way. He had to have the last word, and this is what he wanted. And his attorney made sure that's exactly what he got. A lot of times I gave in because I wanted it to be over. I didn't want to have to or have somebody dictate what I can and can't do. I mean, I've been a mother for an X amount of years at this time, and it wasn't like, I'm new to all this. But everything had always had to have been Christopher's way.
No, you don't say.
And even though I gave him what he wanted, it was something different. Oh, Faith can't wear leggings.
Moving the fence post. Isn't that another narcissistic tendency there? Always moving the goalpost. When you get what you tell them you want, you just move it further. Oh, now it's this. Oh, now it's that, because you got to make the person feel so below you that they can never get anything right. Isn't that part of narcissism?
Or,
I'm not a psychologist. Maybe some people with more experience in my chat can express whether that is a trait of it or not, but I'm unsure. I'm a little ignorant in the area.
It's just the stupidest things, or, it was dumb. I can't even recall how many hearings I went to with Christopher. It's been horrible.
I'll check one sock.
So at this point in time, I didn't really agree to the parenting plan. I didn't like it, but I signed it anyways, just because I wanted it to be over with. The divorce was finally final. And he was still stationed, I believe, in San Diego at this point in time. He was, if I'm correct, he was already living with Katie when we were still married. We were going through the divorce, but he had moved in with her. And I was pretty surprised how fast he moved on with his life.
I think we have a winner. You guys know how I feel about fishing in someone else's pond. I guess we can add homewrecker to that lovely resume of KK. Just saying.
We never mattered. Like, Faith was like, he never had a family. But I should have known that as well prior to the marriages before me, like how he just moved on so quickly with his life. So he would take Faith out there when she was little, like for 2 weeks or a week. And, you know, Katie and them would be living the family life. I, at the time, did not know Sebastian or Katie. I would just see Katie through FaceTime where she would be doing something in the background. And I would ask Christopher, like, you know, I would tell him, I can't believe you've moved on with your life so quick. Like who does that? Well, back and forth we would be going, you know, with Faith. And I finally moved on with my life. But Christopher had made a statement the other night on one of the interviews, the podcasts that he was doing. And I didn't like the way he said this, you know, how he didn't, he called Nina moved in with a man. Like, he knows this person's name. And he deserves to be called his name, not the man. And remind you, I've known Wayne for over 3.5 years. He was my client before we even got exclusive, like being in a relationship, before we even moved in together. He knew I had children. I mean, just so for him to sit there and say that, he basically made it sound like he didn't know this person. He does. So here we are. Faith is 6. I'm still living in this nightmare that he's created.
Nightmare.
We live in fear every single day. We're constantly watching over our backs. My kids don't even know what a normal childhood should feel like, because they were exposed to all this at a very young age. The awful things that other people could do. My oldest daughter said it best. She said, "Mom, I feel like I was robbed of my childhood because of Chris." Because of everything.
And we know that to be true. We know that there has been something being passed around social media from Nina's oldest daughter. And it was authored by, allegedly, Nina's daughter to Cruella, Mommy Dearest. And I don't know if we should read, you know what? Maybe we should read that now. Let's read that now. Give me just a second. Let me pull it up. I wasn't going to read it just yet because of a few different reasons, but since it's already being passed around. Hold on here. There I go. Okay, this is what it says. You guys are going to see my face. I'm not going to be on this screen, so anything that you guys are writing in chat, I'm not going to get to. And with 645 people, I probably won't see it, and I'll let you know when I'm back on this screen. So if you guys do have questions, I'll try to read them here before we move back to Nina. It says, hi, Kathy. It's me, the little girl you thought was going to be little forever. Well, now I'm older and I have a voice that needs to be heard and will be heard in court one day. You want proof? I'm the proof. I've been glancing at a lot of hate comments about my mother. I do not get involved, but now my voice needs to be heard. My mother is not sitting playing, I think she meant here, sitting here playing the victim card like you're making it seem like she is, but she's probably more concerned about Sebastian's disappearance than you are. By the way, about the whole proof thing, the proof you're wanting is right here. I remember everything like it was yesterday. A couple days before I got sick, you came and picked me and my little sister. My little sister to watch. My little sister picked up my little sister to watch her. And I remember being sick in the hospital bed, and your daughter was sitting with me while my mom goes and gets clothes because I had to stay in the hospital. You were on the call with your daughter. You told me you loved me and hoped that I got better. But this whole time you knew what you and your family were plotting on doing to our family, destroying us, giving us trauma that we have to live with for the rest of our lives. I remember when I got home from the hospital, my mom was making food for me and my brother. Then we had a knock at the door, and it was a lady with paperwork. And all I heard was my mom crying. I ran out of my room, and she was sitting on the floor crying. Me and my brother were trying to comfort her. Then we got in the car and went to your house. Your husband cracked open the door and was yelling at my mom. My mom was crying and very frantic because she wanted her daughter back. And then I remember seeing a green and black baseball bat being held up to my mom. Me and my brother were just screaming because we didn't want to see our mom get hurt. For the next couple of days, my mom wasn't herself. She was so depressed. I didn't know what was really going on until I overheard the conversation she was having with my grandparents that were in New Mexico. And then I finally realized I might not see my baby sister again. And I fell behind in school because I was so worried. And you and your family had people come and talk to me and pull me out of class, interrupting my learning time just so you guys could make it seem like my mother was a bad person. But she's not. You wanted me to lie about my mother so you guys could gain custody of my little sister. I hated being called up to the office because I knew what it meant. I would have to spend hours in there talking to these people and then come to the trial. I remember being out in the hallways of the court waiting to testify. I never got the chance to testify because my mom won the trial. I remember Big D slamming the door open and saying, she effing won. I looked at my grandma because my grandma was another witness waiting to testify. I asked, did my mom win? And she said, I think so. Then my grandpa and mom came out. My mom is crying with joyful tears. My grandpa is so happy. I remember going back to the apartment complex we lived at, packing all of our stuff and getting ready to go to the sheriff's office. It was a nightmare when we arrived. I seen a lot of your family members there. My mom gets out of the truck wanting my sister, and then you guys kept giving her a hard time. I was scared sitting in the back seat, listening to all the chaos. Then your son, Christopher, grabbed my mom's purse and dumped it all over the driver's seat, trying to find the key. And then his sister, Melissa, was recording. I will never forget these words she said. Put the truck in reverse and run over her. I was so scared that my mom was going to get ran over. I remember my mom grabbed me and my little sister, and we ran to the sheriff's department doors. Then they let us all the way and Then they let us all the way in the back in a room. There's some missing words here. Sorry, guys. We sat there for a long time. Then they let us know I was okay to leave. We called my grandpa, who was waiting down the road for us, and told him we are on our way. Then we get on the freeway, and I look behind and I see Christopher's dad and stepmom's car following us down the freeway. I was so scared. I kept telling my mom, go faster, mommy, go faster. Then we finally lost them. I remember just kissing my sister and being so happy to have her back. I know a lot of people are going to say I'm making the story up. Between you, me, and my family and God, we all know the truth, and we all know what happened. Also, do you remember this picture? It was my birthday. I got to see my sister for an hour at the park. You guys were watching us like a hawk. I remember crying because all I wanted was my sister and my family to be happy again. On my way home, I kept crying because I missed my sister so much. No child should ever have to go through this. I hope you have an amazing night. God bless you. We will keep Sebastian in our prayers. She's such a smart girl. All right. Sorry about that if it was a little choppy, but I was reading it. It wasn't the post that you guys saw. Somebody cut and pasted the post in an email, so it was a lot smaller. Probably should just blew it up. But if true, and just the way it was written and how childlike the language was when you were reading it, it does at least make me believe somebody younger authored that. So sad. All right, getting back to Nina. Here we go. Let's just go back. Listen to what she said. Sorry.
I feel like I was robbed of my childhood because of Chris. Because of everything that he's done.
Just like he did now.
I've had to grow up so quick to protect my siblings. And you protecting us and always living in fear. Being called to the office and wondering if Child Protective Services was there.
That must have been what she was referring to.
She's 15 now. And still hates to go to the office.
Wow.
because of everything that he's done and his family has done. I feel helpless because I feel like I can't protect them enough. And I wish there was more that I can do. We're still living in this nightmare. We're still going to court. He still complains about everything when it's not his way. In the beginning, there was CPS called. He used Child Protective Service on me because of the divorce, to get my children taken away from me. He has a friend that works at Albuquerque Police Department as well. That I don't know if he still keeps in contact with him. I believe so.
Hey, Jen. Wrong one.
He was told to do a welfare check on us one night, but he didn't take the call.
Seth in here? Hey,
Probably
Seth.
because he knew both of us. I mean, I don't know, and I don't know how that would have been used against him either, I guess. Maybe he was worried about that. Just, he's been filing for full custody, Christopher, for about a year to 2 years now, if I recall. A lot of this stuff is just, it doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, I thought somebody said hi down in the chat.
He's made a mess. He tells people that I'm unstable, that I need a psychiatric evaluation.
I agree, Shirley.
That I'm, that I'm pretty much crazy.
Please don't forget to hit the like button, y'all.
It's been a nightmare. And the recent one, why he's pushing for full custody, is because I moved Faith out of Bosque Farms Elementary to a Native American academy in Albuquerque, where my youngest son goes and my oldest daughter goes down the street to a high school, and it's a minute away. So I was trying to make the commute easier for all of us. All my kids are in curricular activities. My son's in football. My Faith cheers for her brother's Yaffle football team. So practice. My 2 older girls are in Mexican folk dancing, Faith and her older sister are in Mexican folk dancing. My children are in 4-H. So my kids are super busy, and I work in the city as well. So trying to make my life easier, I decided to put her there, and he did not like that, him and his attorney. So they're pushing for full custody about that. I mean, I can't even recall how many other nonsense issues have been brought up. My children, myself, I mean, I'm over it. I'm tired. This has worn my whole entire family down, my children, myself. This is like the first thing I think of when I wake up, and the last thing I think about when I go to sleep. There's no words to explain this feeling. I mean, and on top of that, we were supposed to go to trial March 5th, I believe it was. March 5th. And the first one, March 5th. I went to court January 2nd of 2024. Continuing cases, I had to pay for his attorney fees because I pulled Faith out of Bosque Farms. Although I contacted him through email, he never replied to me. I contacted my lawyer at the time, he never replied to me. So what was I supposed to do? I mean, I had to do what was in best interest for Faith and everybody else. So I ended up paying the legal fee for Christopher because his lawyer complained about that. So then we went to trial. We got a date for trial. Boy, I was furious when I left my lawyer's office. I feel like I hire all these lawyers that just that never took the bat for Faith and listened to anything that I have ever said. I've always told people.
Was that attorneys in Sumner County? Because if so, I concur. That's why I got attorneys elsewhere.
People in the past, the people that were working for Faith and myself, the kind of person that Christopher really was. Nobody listened. I mean, he's hurt my children. He's hurt my son. He's backhanded my son as well and busted his nose open when he was 3 in the car seat in San Diego.
I hope Sumner County is listening to this. I hope Sumner County's listening. Because this is the person that they keep going to bat for in lower courts, of course, because none of the higher courts are going to deal with the bullshit.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
Okay, horse shit.
He's did that to my daughter. He's hurt Faith in the car seat, like I said.
Hey, 5D. Nice to see you. Hey,
it's fallen on dead ears. It's coming up on 7 years. Nobody listens to me. Nobody knows the pain that a mother that I've went through. Nobody knows that I live in fear. It's like back and forth. It's like a game to Christopher with Faith. Christopher dangles Faith over my head as if she's like some kind of toy to be played with. She's not a toy. She's a little girl that has feelings and strong feelings. We can't help the fact that Christopher decided to move to Tennessee. He chose that for himself. I've never known of a person that lives in a whole different state and still dictates what you can and can't do to the other parent.
I'm not a parent, but I can tell you I know. I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida, honey. I'm in Florida, and I never married the guy, nor slept with him, nor had a child. Just saying. Not playing.
He had a choice to live here. He was actually told to move here by the judge. But he lives in Tennessee. He tells me pretty much what I can and can't do still to this day by that court order. So, going back to the trial, was getting prepared. And
okay, guys, hold on. Let's stop. Now, you guys hear this? I think this is creeping closer to when Sebastian disappeared, because now she's talking about getting ready for trial. If you guys remember, right before he disappeared, there was a court hearing we had no idea existed. We had no idea that there was this ex-wife and this child and this custody stuff going on, and that he was going to have to be there. I think the trial was like 3 days away. Was it on the 29th, like February 29th or something like that? I can't remember the dates off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I try to be good, but today I'm all I forgot several things today, and things that I knew. So it could just be one of those days. We're not going to talk about those days, but possibly. Who knows?
I get the call. Going back to the trial, was getting prepared. And I get the call. I get a call. And at this point in time, you know, I'm not talking to Christopher. We don't, I want to make that loud and clear. We do not have a good co-parenting relationship. We don't talk on a regular basis. I refuse to talk to Christopher.
Remember, also, I kind of find it a little, I don't know, odd that he stressed how well Seth and him and Sebastian's mom co-parented. You know, he liked to tell people that how well they co-parent, especially at the very beginning, right? When everybody was just looking for Sebastian, nothing to see over here. But when stuff started getting tougher and the questions started getting tougher, which I have to imagine was the case, there started to be some splintering and fracturing, and that very much co-parenting facade fizzled right before our eyes.
Because everything has to be his way. I
March 5th. Okay, thank you.
Don't entertain any of his conversations. In the past, when I used to, and I thought that a relationship between him and I, and we're learning how to co-parent and it's good, it backfired. It kicked me in my ass. Everything that I told, he used against me in court all the time. Every single thing. So I had to learn not to trust him. I've had to, I don't talk to him. So for him to say on some of his podcasts is that we have good, parenting skills, or we don't know how to talk to each other. I refuse to communicate with this man. So
exactly.
He calls me that Wednesday, and he's like, and I was like, oh great, he's calling. So I went straight to voicemail. And then he had said 911. Call me. So then I was like, well, it must be emergency, so let me call him. I called him and I said, what's up, Chris? And he was like, he's like, Nina, I gotta tell you something. And I was like, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to tell me that the trial, we're not going to go to trial, that everything is going to be done with, and we don't need to worry, and we can, we don't need to do all this stuff. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And then he tells me, I got to be open and honest with you. And then he pauses like for 6 or 7 seconds, and I'm like, I was like, what? What do you have to tell me? So then at that point in time, he tells me that Sebastian went missing. And I was speechless. I have to say, I was speechless. And then I went into saying, well, what happened? Like, how did he go missing? Like, what happened? And he said, well, he went missing between 12:30 and 6 a.m. And I'm like, it's thinking to myself, and then, like, that's crazy. And I said, don't you have security cameras, Christopher? I said, you mean you have security cameras in your house? I mean, don't you? And he paused. He didn't say anything. So then I said, what happened to your dogs? I said, don't your dogs? They said, you have those Yorkies, and I said, every time that I call Faith, they said they're barking.
Interesting.
He didn't say nothing. So I said, I said, are you lying to me? I said, because I mean, thinking in my head, like, are you just buying more time for this trial that's coming up? Like, what other information are you going to find out that you're going to use against me, right? So then I said, I'm going to look this up. And I said, have you contacted your lawyer yet? I said, we still have a trial, I said, at 8:30 next Tuesday. And he had raised his voice at me and he said, we're not going.
I got that too, Boogie.
And I was like, don't raise your voice at me. You're not going to disrespect me like that. You're not going to raise your voice at me. So then I said, by law, I said, I have to contact my attorney. And I said, I'm going to email him as soon as I get off the phone with you. And I'm going to tell him that there's a missing child. And I had stated, like, okay, well, is there like something, we could do? Can you send me like a flyer? Can you send me something? I said, I could put it on my social media and it'll take off. Like, I have a lot of people that I know and a lot of my clientele. I said, we're willing to, they share a lot of my stuff. So he never sent me anything. And he was so worried about his phone, and he had said something. He's like, the fucking cops had my phone, and I had to call Faith, and I told him I had to fucking call my daughter. And I said, Christopher, I said, you need to calm down. I said, Faith is fine. She's with me. I'm her mother. I said, she was with her family here. I said, you don't need to worry about her. You don't need to worry about her whatsoever. And and he wanted to say more. And he repeated himself again. And he said, I need to be honest with you. And I was like, Christopher, I don't have time for this. I said, I just don't. I said, I gotta go. And that was it, the conversation that I had with him. I keep kind of beating myself up. Maybe I should have stayed on the phone a little bit longer. Maybe I should have let him talk. But with the experiences that I've had with Christopher in the past, I just couldn't trust him. So then I contacted.
So this is an ex-wife. She can't trust him. Co-workers can't trust him. We have dating all the way back to him being at a project in Alabama in 2021, where he just doesn't make good connections with anyone.
I contacted my attorney the next day and I told him what was going on with Sebastian. I mean, I was hoping that, and I keep hoping, and we're praying every single day for his return home. But the more and more days that had passed by, the more and more that I got, like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. Like, and the things that didn't make sense to me was why Christopher and Katie aren't looking for Sebastian. I don't know, but I know if one of my babies went missing, I'd be out there searching night and day.
All of us would. All of us would.
I don't know how somebody could just sit at home and just wait for your baby to return. When I'd be out there looking every single second, I'd be out there by horseback. I'd be out there by a golf cart, by whatever I can get my hands on to get into the forest and look, or wherever in these neighborhoods, wherever I could possibly go. I'd still be wearing the same clothes that my son or daughter went missing in.
And I want to remind you, you know how the girl, and you remember the father, he's got tattoos all over his face. He was probably judged quite a bit, but he was a dad. It doesn't matter whether you got tattoos on your face. You don't know if he got those when he was 18 years old and had to live with them the rest of his life. We don't know their situation. But you know what he did? He thought his daughter was on a boat. You know what he did? He kicked in the freaking door and got his daughter. And yes, his daughter was there. That's what parents do. They don't care about the damn law. They don't care about being arrested. They don't care about encroaching on people's property. They don't give a shit. Let's just be honest. They don't care about being arrested. They care their child's safe. That's all they care about. And you see Nina, she'd be willing to do that. We definitely know that guy in New York was willing to do that. There's everybody in my chat. We got 678 people. I would say at least 80% of you, because we got the ones all the way out there in the forest, you know. But I have to say at least 80 to 90% of you guys would be the same way. Actually, I think their percentage is about 3%. So we'll say 97% of you. You know? And then we've got Chris and Katie.
I'd be running on adrenaline. All I could think about is the time that happened to me when they took Faith from me. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even drink water. I lost so much weight. And I knew where my baby was at. And this hits home for us because of Faith. Faith's known Sebastian pretty much half of her life, or her whole entire life.
Well, this is one of them.
I feel for Seth. I feel for his family, the Rogers family. I'm in shock. I can't believe this has happened. You know, and Faith asks me, and she talks about Sebastian, and she asks me, Mama, are they gonna find him?
Don't know. Scared?
I tell her, yeah.
They may have came forward, but after this interview with Nina was harassed. Okay, she was put through the ringer because of that side of the family and their cohorts. Anybody that has to deal with that, I know you guys watch from the sidelines and stuff like that, but what you guys don't understand is that it is very, very, it's a horrible experience. It's very, very stressful, especially with her. She's got kids, and these people will try to get you fired from your job. A lot of people don't want to go through what they've seen happen in this case. It has absolutely prevented people from coming forward. Therefore, if it prevented people from coming forward to talk, then it's hindering an investigation. Just saying.
I've talked to Seth on a parent-to-parent level. And we talked about some things that, we both, we shed some tears together, and just the pain in his voice. It hurts. But I feel like people now want to listen to me. People now want to hear my voice when I've been saying.
Exactly. You know what? It's pretty sad that it takes a child disappearing for the courts or for anybody, or even Sumner County, to take a good look at their conduct and why we have the rules, the constitutional laws that we have, why everything should be applied fairly to everybody. So this kind of environment, this kind of toxicity doesn't happen, which clearly a lot of behaviors we're seeing in the Sebastian Rogers case many years after Nina, after all of this happened with Nina. The same type of personalities from the same exact players across the board. Across the board.
The hurtful things that were done.
Hey, River.
To my children and to myself. Nobody wanted to listen to me before.
That's what I came up with too, yep.
And now that this baby is missing, you want to listen to me now? You want to ask me questions now? Like I just feel helpless. Like I don't know what to even think anymore. I see all these things that are being said, and
what happened to Chaos? Did I miss something?
The things that people say, and they have every right to say that. They have every right to speculate.
Oh yeah, true.
Just like I have. I've there's so many things that I've thought about in my head, but I've saw the things. I've sat back for a month literally and watched everything and followed every possible thing that I can, listened to what people have said, podcasts, like everything.
Oh, thank you, Margaret.
And I needed for my voice and my story to be heard of my experiences with the Proudfoots and Christopher and Katie. Katie jumped on that bandwagon, or that Christopher and everybody else was on. Just like this past December 27th, Faith was going out to Hendersonville to see her family for the holidays. We drove her to the airport. We were all happy. We all got out. Isabella, Noah, Wayne, myself. Got her out of the truck and we said our goodbyes. We hugged her. We kissed her. There's Katie standing there recording everything like she always does. And I hug my baby tight. I tell her I love her. And we prayed. We asked God to keep Faith safe and bring her home safe to us. So as she went with Katie, I had somebody that Christopher, Katie, and his lawyer hired. His name is Michael Tinker. He served me with paper.
She's about to get into this part of her story. Reality, I think she was referring to, because she did this like March 2024. So I'm thinking it was what she's referring to as Christmas of 2023 with the example, or, her going to the airport. I think this was 2023 that she's referring to right now. Because this was,
and he tapped on my window and I just rolled it down. And he said, "Are you so-and-so Gomez?"
Do you guys remember when Nina did this interview? I can't remember. I keep believing it was the beginning, but you know what I was thinking is, I remember there for a long time, especially after April, when the last press conference was provided by Eric Craddock. I remember there not being a whole lot of new news until this came out. So this might have actually been later, like maybe the summer. Maybe this came out in the summer of 2024. I can't remember. If somebody remembers when this actually came out, let me know. I'd like to know. I can't remember.
I said, "Yes." "Why?" He said, "Because you've been served." And the first thing I thought of was, they're going to take Faith. I got out of that truck so fast and I ran into the airport. And I was yelling through the airport that she was going to kidnap Faith. Katie and Faith were standing at the Southwest counter. And I told them, I said, "She's going to kidnap my baby." I grabbed Faith on the left side of her hand and I ran with her through the airport. And all I could think about is, I got to get back to the truck. And here comes Wayne, Noah, and Isabel running through the airport just to
Me too.
come and see what was happening. And oh my God, my mom, like first thing she thought of was like, and Wayne thought was like, oh my God, Nina's gonna just lay her out. I ran by, and Katie was coming right up behind me, and the guy, Michael Tinker, he stood there trying to flag me down and still trying to serve me with paperwork. In that moment, I'm just thinking about, they're going to take my baby and I'm never going to see her again. So I got to the truck. I called APD. During the holiday season, APD's at the airport. So they came within like 5 minutes. Officer Cordova had showed up and was talking about, asking questions like what was happening, and asked if I had a parenting plan on hand. And I'm like, wait, I mean, when I was just supposed to carry my parenting plan? I mean, and he said, is it his time sharing or yours? And I said, it's his. But I said, why am I being served? And still at this point, Michael Tinker was still trying to give me my paperwork, and I wouldn't take it, so he got very upset, lifted up the windshield wipers and threw the paperwork right under there. At this point, my kids are crying. I'm crying hysterically. And there's Katie smiling away and recording everything. Then the officer's like, Ms. Gomez, you have a court date coming up. And if you don't want the judge to be upset with you, you need to let her go. So I get back out of the truck. And we all do. And I get down to Faith's level. And I tell her how much I love her.
Oh, yes. Her son, Katie's son's not missing yet. This is Christmas time, right before Sebastian goes missing, several months before Sebastian goes, maybe within 30 days, because she's talking about 2023. And she said she sent her there on, what was it? It was like December 29th, she said, for the holidays, or December 27th, something like that. It was right after Christmas. And she was at the airport. So this was right in that time frame, in my opinion, that, just because they would have had it would only have been a 2-week vacation. So you're talking about, what would that be, from whatever date it was, the 27th or the 29th, out 2 weeks. That's when she came home. And then shortly after that, a few weeks after that, less than a month? No, about 45 days after that, Sebastian's gone.
And that mommy's gonna always keep fighting for you. And don't ever for 1 second think that mommy does not love you. I hug her so tight. Because I don't know if that's the last time I was going to see my baby.
That's got to be scary. That's got to be unnerving.
He handed her off to Katie.
I don't know.
And she left. I could barely breathe when I got back in the truck. Trying to think about, what do I do now? What do I do if she doesn't come home? How am I going to get her home? Faith stopped. And she looked at the truck driving away, and Wayne looked back, and she probably thought, is that the last time I'm going to see my family?
Thank you.
The whole day, my whole world was turned upside down. I thought about everything that played in my head, like a movie.
Karma.
That day was hard. I came home and I curled up in a ball. I didn't want nobody to bother me because I'm thinking about how am I going to have enough money to get a lawyer or anything like that. So what they did was they hired that server to come and serve me with a court hearing that I already knew about. The one that was going to take place January 2nd. So Christopher's lawyer, Christopher, Katie, they all knew what they were doing. They premeditated this again. They wanted me to go crazy. They wanted me to say hurtful things so they can go back to the courthouse and to the judge and say that I was unstable, that I'm mentally, something's wrong. And
I don't know if it was January 2nd reality.
that's what they did. Christopher and Katie and his attorney asked that I get evaluated by a psychiatric doctor. Because I ran through the airport saying that she was gonna kidnap her. But in my mind, I've been traumatized by Mr. Proudfoot and his family. And I brought back trauma. And now, I mean, we're at this point where poor Sebastian is missing. And everybody, you know, the judge and, you know, other people are telling me, don't talk about this issue in front of Faith. She's too young, she's traumatized. Christopher doesn't talk about that to her. He doesn't tell her that her stepbrother is missing. Not once has he said anything to her about it. I think Faith needs to be aware of what's happening. She did talk to Sebastian when she had FaceTimed Chris and he was at his house. She knows him. I really don't know what to say at this point. Like with Sebastian missing and
Me too, Rod.
the situation with Faith. It's been an ongoing situation. I was unaware that Sebastian's father was getting him I was unaware that he was going to live with his father permanently. Finally, that was disclosed to me about a week and a half ago.
So she had no clue. And they've been trying to get rid of him since October 2022. She had no clue about any of it. She just found out that he was getting ready to go to his dad's house. She didn't even know about that.
I was in shock because I went like, how can you know that you're getting your child for full custody? Like, I mean, you and Katie were preparing for this. You're giving away one kid to get another one. Like, I never understood that.
Whoa!
For full custody. Like, I mean, you and Katie were preparing for this. You're giving away one kid to get another one. Like,
Red flag.
I was in shock because I went like, how can you know that you're getting your child for full custody? Like, I mean, you and Katie were preparing for this. You're giving away one kid to get another one. Like, I never understood that. I still don't understand that. I was in shock when I heard that, and I also, it's sickening to think that, and to think that you would be getting a child. Why would you take Faith away from everything that she knows? Her mom, her siblings. She calls Wayne dad. She says, that's my daddy, Wayne. Her grandparents, like everything. I don't, I was lost, and now the more and more I find out, it just makes my stomach turn even more. Like, going back to this court hearing that we had, we never got an extension on the restraining order. But I believe that we should have. I did, because I don't know what Christopher nor Katie or the Proudfoots are capable of doing.
I would state that, Elser, if I myself haven't experienced a lot of what she's talking about, and I've never had a kid with him, never saw him, never reached out to him. So there's a lot of stuff here that, I absolutely believe. I don't understand how a child can have 5 CPS reports, parents trying to get rid of him since October 2022, and finally on February 26th, just subsequently, or so coincidentally, happens to be the exact 8 years from the date that Seth and Katie's divorce filings were filed. There's just too many coincidences here for some of this stuff to, we have to apply past behavior now to current behavior. And I can tell you some of the court stuff, she's spot right on. I know from personal experience. So to me, it's corroborated because I'm living it. And again, I don't have a kid with this guy. Just a little food for thought.
It's, for all I know, they could take Faith from school. I do right now have temporary full custody of Faith till we go back to court. I mean, I talked to Seth. And I've always told him, I reach out to him and I let him know, we're here, whatever you need, let us know how we can help you. Then I remember him telling me the first night that I reached out to him, or he reached out to me, and he said, you can help Sebastian, and you can help me by keeping Faith there and keeping her safe.
Yeah, she's got full custody. Thank God.
When you hear that from another parent and the situation that's going on, what do you say? Like, I'm doing the best that I can, but it's the justice system here. My biggest fear is that somebody's gonna make the wrong decision for Faith and she goes out there. And what am I gonna do? What if something like this happens to my baby?
I don't know how people can think that she's not reliving this or feeling this. She is absolutely terrified about her daughter. And and I talked about this I think it was yesterday or the day before. No, it was just yesterday. We've been talking about this yesterday. And I said, can you imagine you having to rely on a judge? I mean, there's no repercussions when a judge makes a poor decision. There's no repercussions when it comes to children in a situation like this, because if something happens to her daughter, she's got to live with it the rest of her life. The judge just continues on. It's just another case. There is no repercussions for a judge. There is no, you can't hold a judge liable for the decisions he makes on the bench. Yeah, you can, you probably have some civil remedies, but they continue to go on. And, meanwhile, it could potentially, obviously, her daughter, her and Chris's daughter has visited the home since Sebastian disappeared and has gone back home. So there was, like I said, I heard through the rumor, through the grapevine, that something happened while she was there that provoked Nina to file something. And I'm unsure what, because it is a sealed record now, exactly what, but it didn't seem like it was a visit that went flawlessly. We'll say that.
Are you gonna tell me I'm sorry, Miss Gomez? I made the wrong decision? The justice system has failed a lot of kids, has failed my kids, and it's also failed Sebastian.
Amen.
I've been fighting this since Faith was a newborn, and I'm still fighting it. I don't know what it's gonna take. I don't really think anybody really cares the decisions that they make for children, because it's not happening in their personal family. They don't know somebody. It doesn't hit home. It'll never happen to them. A lot of these people always tell me, don't show your feelings in court. Don't be emotional. So I'm just supposed to sit there without feelings, without crying, without telling people how I really feel. I feel like a lot of these also, because there wasn't enough creamer in their coffee for, you know, a lot of these judges that make these decisions, and maybe they got angry that morning or whatever the circumstances are.
Good question.
They make bad choices for a lot of these children. And I won't let faith be one of them. I will always fight for faith, like I have been.
Just go out of screen. Oh, it just went out of screen.
I wish people would open up their eyes and listen to when people are saying it's not a good idea. I don't think they're stable. I don't think that they're a healthy parent. You know.
This is from the recording. Apparently it cut her off. So hopefully it'll correct itself, but we'll just listen. Oops, did I not hit play?
Because look at what happened to Sebastian.
That would be terrible.
And I feel for him because I'm a mom of a 15-year-old daughter.
I feel more than his own mother does. And I'm not going to say allegedly, in my opinion. Her actions have shown that.
I hope, and we pray every single day for his safe return. If there's anything that I would say to everybody is look out for one another, look out for your kids. And no relationship is worth your children's relationship at all. At all. So, I believe I had to tell my story so it can get out there. Because it still haunts me to this day. It haunts my children. It haunts our everyday life. We don't live a normal life. We're always living on the edge because of Mr. Proudfoot. I mean, his mother wanted to pay off the daycare, buy them some new playground equipment, just so Christopher and his mom can stay there longer to see Faith.
Buying off the daycare.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, my mind is all foggy right now because thinking about everything that I've went through, I'm sure I left some bits and pieces out. But I know what I've experienced, and it wasn't a good experience at all whatsoever. So, that's our story.
All right. We have officially heard the interview. It took us about 3 shows to get it all done. It should have been 2. Yeah, it is what it is. It is hard to watch. It's hard to watch the first time I watched it. Okay, let's see here. It passed, baby. It passed. So, sorry for those that are coming in, don't know what I'm talking about. It was from a planning commission meeting earlier today. If you guys want to see a little bit before we get into the topic of conversation, I did record myself because that's just what we do on social media. Actually, I pulled the thing off. Here it is.
Sandra Griffin, community activist, advocate. I like this development.
Have you been sworn?
Yes, sir. I've been sworn in. Thank you. I like this development. I don't really have an issue with the wetlands. I'm not really overly concerned about that. I am concerned about, the water mitigation on the roads and everything, just like everybody else is. I've lived here my whole life. My generations go back before this was even a county. So seeing the development here is kind of breaking my heart because it's changed our county quite a bit. The affordability here has not been exactly what it should be for quite some time. Historically, we've always had Sarasota that has been more expensive to live in. Most people actually lived in Manatee County and commuted over to Sarasota for work because it was higher pay over in Sarasota, more affordable houses over in Manatee County. And that has changed over the last few years. Now, there's a lot of things that go to our affordability. And one of the things is letting our developers go wild. They have driven up the costs here, which is what our AMI is based on. And it's causing these elevated rents. And in my opinion, it's not their fault about the rent cost, but we have got to do something about what we consider affordable housing. Because I'm looking here, and I don't know who can afford $1,800. You're talking about families, and they have to sit into a one-bedroom house for affordable housing. And even this project, you're talking about like 10% being 3 bedrooms. If you're averaging that at $2.30 a square foot, you're looking at almost $3,000 a month for a 3-bedroom home in Manatee County. And that's what we deem as affordable. This is unsustainable for our residents. We've got people here that are retirees. We've got moms and dads that have 2, 3, sometimes more children that they've got to put roof over their head, clothes on their back, and food on the table. So we as a community have to come together and find out what truly is affordable for this county. I like this project. There's things about this project I like. As with any project, there's also some disadvantages, some bad sides to it, some unintentional side effects, such as additional flooding, additional people on the roads. This area, I haven't been over there in quite some time, but I have to assume that just like every other Florida or Manatee County road, it is getting congested. We're having flooding. We need to start taking back, breathing, and figuring out what projects are going to impact this community the best and do the most for our community. Thank you for your time.
So,
not everybody gets it. So they're doing their home.
It was an exhausting day. So anyways, that was just for one project. The one that I was looking for was a residential substance abuse. It's been a substance abuse center before, and then all of a sudden they're trying to play games because there's one of our code enforcement guys live in the area and doesn't like it. So now we have the county bureaucrats trying to shut this facility down that helps people when we have lack of beds in our community for substance abuse and rehabilitation. I find it asinine. I find it insulting. And we worked very hard today to get that past the Planning Commission and to the Board of County Commissioners, which I will be speaking and condemning our county employees for what they have done with this. This was nonsense. We spent more time on reestablishing the purpose for this thing. We can take RSF3, which means you can only build 3 units per acre. Okay, that means 3 houses on an acre of lot, RSF3. We can push RSF3 amendments to RSF12s. That means 12 units can be on a acre of property, the density is a lot more. That means they make more money off the project, right? Because they have more houses to sell. We can do that in 15 minutes. But it took the whole entire afternoon from the time we got back from lunch until when I got that that notification. It took all that to this place has only been ran as an ALF and an inpatient rehab facility. Those are the only two things that this thing, all dating all the way back to 1987. I thought it was ludicrous. I thought it was a colossal waste of county resources, a colossal waste of how much they had to pay that attorney to come in there and argue with the bureaucrats of our county. They haven't heard the last of me. Just saying. Okay, now that we're done with talking about Betty, just stop. Let's get back to Nina. Let's get back to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian is it's clear that Nina is highly concerned about the situation. It seems to me that Nina, even though we didn't see it at the time, especially when when talking about removing one kid to acquire another kid, it took us a little bit longer to get there. You know what I'm saying? It took us a little bit longer. We had to have a little more information, and that information just came to us in the last 30 days or so when we found out they have been trying to, and I'm going to call it rehoming, because they threw food out in a blanket out the front door like he was an animal, and they're acting like they can just get rid of kids. And now this child's missing. I can't stress those key components the most, because those key components are the critical components, the foundation of why we are here. It truly is. I absolutely believe it. So where are we? Let me go through here real quick. I just want to thank again, Melanie. Thank you, my beautiful. Michelle, thank you so much. We had another Michelle. Oh, you guys, look at that. You guys spell your name the same. It's very rare that we see a 1L Michelle, okay? I mean, it does happen. It's obviously more common than I thought, but, most Michelles have 2 L's. I love uniqueness, but it's unfortunate, Michelle, because you guys aren't unique anymore. No, I'm just joking. If I'm pulling your pigtails, you got to know I love you. It's nice to see you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Melanie. Thank you so much. And Feisty Mama said, my rent for a 3-bedroom, 2 house is $2,200. Oh, geez. And that's what we're trying to stop here in Manatee. It was never like this before. I don't care about growth, okay? I know our county cares about growth because they care about the dollar bill. I don't give a crap about growth. I don't care whether we're a tourist destination. Those things don't matter to me. I mean, we're almost 250,000 strong. We support our restaurants and businesses, right? Maybe the island. I get the island probably has seasons because everybody comes from up north and wants to be on a beach. So I kind of get it out there. But for the rest of the county, we're self-supporting. We don't need and the more growth and the more services, the more taxes. It's just more. You can never feed the beast enough. You can never feed the beast enough. It just never ends. It never ends, right? It's always something more. It's just money. Money makes the world go round. It really does, even in our counties. But, growth is important, and we have a lot of people renting that could be homeowners, and we have shortage of housing like every place else. My thing is I honestly believe if they do exercise, I know whatever aisle you're on, but I've been saying for a while, how is it that we're having housing shortages all over this country? I said this 2 years ago about the housing shortages. Where are our houses? Where are all of our old houses going? I mean, we didn't just birth, 2 million people or 2 million, just all of a sudden, one moment, 2 million people or 8 million people or 20 million people have just been able to buy every piece of property we have that's vacant. I mean, how are we having this shortage of houses? But it's not just here in it's all over. That's what's driving our housing prices through the roof right now. So, I mean, who gobbled up all the homes? We need to look into that. I'm telling you. If there were homes, oops, did I just go off this? Hold on. Oh, good gracious. I went to a different desktop. You guys just disappeared. All right, guys. Well, you guys got to see the Nina Gomez interview. You got to see more behind the scenes about this family. Now, when this came out early on, we didn't see everything that we see now. This particular interview has so much more meaning and so much more context behind it now that we are almost a year into this case, because we have seen who this family is front and center, and we put a magnifying glass on them and have exposed them to the entire world. Because when you keep it in your tiny little controlled cocoon, you have the power to control your cocoon. We're outside of that, baby. There's no control. There's no control, as it should be. As it should be. Nobody should be interfering in free press. Nobody should be interfering with, a criminal investigation. But they have built a team to do all of this damage. Meanwhile, Seth has built this team to go out and find his son. Big difference. Big difference. And I hope every single day I chip away at exposing that every single day, because every new person that comes here gets to learn the truth. Not some hate bonding crap, not some, I'm better than you crap, right? Some real legitimate things that they can take and start diving in and start looking. Everybody has experiences. You do not need this idea that you have to have this certificate to use your brain. It couldn't be further from the truth. Every single one of you guys are experts in something. Every one of you guys have experience nobody else has, because nobody has walked your path. And that's the great thing that we bring together, is all those experience from out of the box places. And we work together and we start chipping away to find the truth. We know something happened. We know the circle of people involved have to be small. Why? Because we collected all of this information that states that the parents didn't have a whole lot of friends and that this child was isolated from the world. So that creates this small, ultra small group of people that would have motive, means, and opportunity to disappear a child, because we all can agree that this child didn't just walk out of the home. We have no scent dog, even though this child was barefoot. We have no video evidence of seeing a shadow or even nothing. The only shadows we got, the only images we can see are the ones from those flashlights. And now we're going to go over to Justin for All. And there's one spot, and I don't think I have a tab for you, Justin. I'm a horrible friend, and I'm sorry. Horrible friend, and I'm sorry. Let me see if I can do one of your I do those. Did I say tattoo? I didn't mean tattoo. I meant, the bands, the banners, the banner. Oh, I do. Look at that. I did have one. Okay, yay! I must have knew I was going to play this, because I was supposed to play this like a day or so ago. Anyways, this right here, I'm going to take this off. I've got to take this banner off. So everybody, you guys know it's Justin. It says Clutch the Pearls right there. But I got to take that banner off because I got to take my face off, because you got to see the whole situation here. All right. So this is from Clutch the Pearls. Clutch Them Pearls, and I have already put it where I wanted it to go.
Dedicate.
But I want you to see what they do.
Like the mob.
I want you to see what they do to the images that we do have.
Crew. Unfortunately.
Thank you, Justin. By the way, I knew this was probably quite the project.
You know, have a lot of.
Okay.
There's clearly humans.
Okay, hold on. I do need.
I don't, because I, you know, have a lot of different responsibilities. But I mean, there is clearly a human here.
This is the flashlight video.
There's clearly humans in this vicinity. Definitely humans with these flashlights. And let.
Oh, sorry, that's me.
Have a lot of different responsibilities. But I mean, there is clearly a human here.
It did that all by itself. Sorry, guys.
There's clearly humans in this vicinity. Definitely humans with these flashlights.
And I'm sure you guys can see the shadowing behind the flashlight. Look at this. You can
clearly see.
Look at this.
That there is humans here where this is. You can see the head, you can see the neck, you can see the shoulder, you can see the arms, you can see the hand very good right here, and you can see the legs very clearly through here. Here's another one.
And it looks like
these are human beings.
And it looks like somebody had said, I wonder if the brighter light was a headlamp. And I'm telling you, if I had to look at images, I would have to say that looks like a headlamp. It almost looks like a construction cap with a like a hard hat with a headlamp on it, but it could be a ball cap, but it looks like there's something else on the head that light is attached to besides just the straight head.
Thanks.
And they do have ones that just go over your hair, everything. It doesn't go to a lighter, like a hat. It's not built into a hat, but for whatever reason, I'm seeing something a little more on the head than just the headlight.
At 3:15 in the morning. Just that kind of shows you if you have a hard time seeing it. It's my little outlining. It's really bad. But you can clearly see head, neck, shoulders, hands. You can see the thumb. You can see the index finger, how it's turned, the legs very clearly.
I have to think that those lights that we saw weren't a garbage truck.
You can. Yeah. I can send it to the mob crew. You certainly can.
But I think the point Justin was trying to make here is that if this is what he can do, and trust me, we don't have NASA technology. I'll just tell you that. It looks like he's doing this on Canva, okay? So can you imagine having NASA or FBI or Secret Service technology enhance this video? How much more it's possible they can make out if this is what can be done by, well, he may not have done it on Canva. He just put the presentation on Canva. I probably shouldn't assume that. I'll have to find out where he actually did this. But I mean, I know that on the stuff that I have, I don't pay a whole lot of money for it. And it is, it has a lot of different filters. It's amazing what you can do with filters this day and age, you know, to identify. I mean, if you guys think of it, it's almost like forensics in a sense. How many different color glasses do they put on to look at something to see if, you know, if they have those glasses are basically like the filters. right? You've seen them wear red glasses, yellow glasses, different other color glasses. And that's because they want to see trace evidence that they wouldn't see with your normal lighting. So those glasses that they put on, in essence, are basically filters similar to what we use on our video editing and our photo editing in getting different things taken out by different lighting and adjusting lightings, taking out hues, taking out, say, blues or reds or yellows, in a situation like that. So you could really modify it. You could overexpose it, underexpose it to pull some of those other deep things that you can't see with your naked eye just by using different filters and adjusting them. So I understand this technique. I've seen it done. I've done a similar stuff, not to this caliber, but I did have to remake those filters that were done on Chris's arms. Remember that? When those marks on his arms after the green shirt interview came out, I didn't believe those photos, so I had to mimic them myself, and I had to adjust different filters to get that same image that we were seeing on the screen, and I was able to do it. That's how I knew that video. I was able to go to the interview, clip that spot, and enhance it exactly. That's how I knew that those photos were not fake, is because, but not to this caliber. This is really going into a lot of different filters to really clean that image up, to see what is not seen to the naked eye on the raw footage. So I believe that this right here, if Justin for All can do this, I absolutely believe that the technology of the FBI, Secret Service, and NASA, which sometimes the FBI relies on, especially in clearing up images because of what they are able to do with, planetary stuff. They've got some pretty awesome editing software that they apply and can clear up the pixels. So it's a very interesting process. But again, I think we can get off the trash truck. I know law enforcement work very hard to take us off of this. But unfortunately, we're from the true crime community. We know what we know. We see what we see. It's really hard to, we've been blindsided before. I think, but JD, they never intentionally led us astray, though. Even JD Huff in Michael Monkey Vaughn's case, JD Huff was very, very clever in how he handled all of that. The Idaho 4, how the chief handled all of that. They were very clever. They didn't deceive people. They just knew they had, I don't know if they had experience or just really bright people working for them saying, this is what we need to do, because JD Huff played it so close to his vest. So close to his vest. We did not have the Wandras in our purview until the day that we learned of the Wandras. And by that day, they were already digging up their backyard. Very, very smart. He was able to manage social media. He was able to, and I'm sure that it's hard. We come with millions, and we're just a different breed than mainstream media, But very clever how he was able to keep that whole case under wraps, keep the integrity of that case, and maintain social media. It is a balancing act, and there are some people that got it, and there's just some people that don't got it, right? You either have it or you don't have it. And in this 2025, chief of police and sheriffs need to have it, okay? Keep constantly condemning social media, which is growing by the millions on a daily basis, probably isn't the best strategy. Just saying, to each their own. I'm just saying, I've been here for a while, and it's probably not the best strategy. It always comes in to bite you. Look at how, we had it was crazy in the Idaho 4, right? It was absolutely crazy. Everybody was blaming anybody that had a white Elantra. Let me tell you guys what most universities have, that students have, are white Elantras. Why? Because they're dependable, reliable, and inexpensive vehicles that parents love to put their children in, and they have safety features, right? So it's kind of a win-win. It's a lower level vehicle, very affordable for college age students. It's something that a lot of colleges have in their parking lot. It is literally a needle in a haystack. So for Moscow, this small, I mean, they have, the place is small. I mean, the university is what funds that whole entire Moscow community, by the way. When the students are out of school, their sales must literally plummet, because it really is the college and all the students that go there that keep that whole entire community alive. If it wasn't for that college, a lot of those businesses would not be there. And so this is a very small community. This is a, it's a larger police station because they do have, they have the college there and they're required for their safety. So, they do have that. But for the most part, they were able to manage all the craziness going on social media, staying laser focused on the mission, managing to keep us talking about something every single day. They would have a press conference or a press release. And sometimes the press release would be nothing more than just listing how many tips they fielded. You guys remember that? And stating that they're still working the case. That literally sometimes was all they posted, but it kept people occupied and it kept people engaged in the case. And law enforcement, we had it all wrong until Brian Kohberger was arrested, which was my prediction. That was my prediction. As soon as I got there, I'm like, we're looking at the wrong people. You guys need to stop with these kids. This is somebody else. This is somebody else a little bit older. I don't know what made me think that. I don't know why. I don't know. I felt like everything kind of played like even we were the first people that ever entertained Washington State University. And we were out there with New York Times, CNN, Fox News, News Nation. And we were the first one that brought any kind of news that it could possibly be related to Washington State University. And I got to tell you, when I realized that this guy came from Washington State University, it put shivers up my spine because I truly believe he drove by me while I was recording. We were live at a couple places around Washington. It freaked me out, knowing that, because you don't know, you're just running a story and you're sitting, like I was sitting there drinking a cup of coffee and I just happened to look over Olivia's head and there's Washington State University. And I just grabbed my camera and ran out the coffee house and went over there and started recording because I had no idea that there was another university that's so close to the University of Idaho. But it was, I didn't know if it was a rivalry. I didn't know if it was something else. I didn't know what we were dealing with. Could it be possible it came from Washington State? That was basically the crux of my, that little segment that I did out there. And you know what? I said, yeah, it's possible. And today we know. So it's just getting out there and getting this. But here in Sumner County, they have none of that. They would rather point the finger and play the blame game and blame everybody else for this instead of just trying to find a creative way in managing it. I mean, they are law enforcement. They should be managing this case. And that means publicly as well. Just my mild observation, my opinion, obviously they're going to, sheriffs and chiefs of police all over this country have to make the decisions when cases like this, come knocking on their front door. I just think from the beginning to the end, it's been poor planning. It's just been poor. Okay. Just in my personal opinion. And it sucks because we've all learned to love Sebastian and we're just keeping our fingers crossed that they've caught up from the beginning of the case. And so that's all we can really hope for right now. We got a little push in that direction. When Seth went on the newscast and said he had a renewed hope and renewed faith in law enforcement looking to bring his son home. That gave us a little oomph, in the right direction, which is really good. And the fact that he's having open communications and line of communications with law enforcement, which had been lacking for months. So, I feel like the case is progressing in the right way, albeit slow. It is still progressing in the right way. So anyways, guys, thanks for letting me bend your ear. Thanks for hanging out with me for over 2 hours. It has been a crazy day for me. Please get involved in your communities. I can't stress it enough. I know you guys are probably all rolling your eyes, but there's something out there that's driving you nuts in your own community. And the more we have in those rooms, the more we have fighting for the people of your community, the more effective that your council and your governance can be in your community. So I really do hopefully inspire somebody. I can tell you, when I spoke today, I did get choked up, and I did start crying in the meeting. I won't lie. I'm glad that the majority of it was off screen, but you could see when I was talking about this rehabilitation center, it did get a little emotional for me, because it was a center like this. Mine was the Tammy House. It's no longer in existence. And it was in Northport. And that was really my first steps in relieving myself from a lot of the gunk and baggage that I had been carrying with me for so long. I truly believe that if it wasn't for that program, and it was just a sober living environment, that's where I went to. It wasn't a inpatient anything. It wasn't, no medical paperwork, no nothing. Basically, I rented a room in a house, and it was a sober living environment. And we had rules, like I couldn't even get a job or leave the community for the first 90 days. I was 90 meetings, 90 days, but it was really 3 meetings a day, okay? Because you couldn't leave and you had to participate and all these other things. But it was a structured area for me. And it was back in 2007. It's hard to believe that it's been that many years. I mean, it's been almost 20 years. But, facilities like that mean something to me. And this would really, I didn't really think that it would pull me, kind of like Nina, when you start talking about it, you're almost reliving it again. It was similar to that today, because, I was sitting there explaining, it was something like most people on that board don't know, right? They don't know. This is the planning commission. This is not the board of county commissioners. This is the planning commission. They don't really know me like that, right? And they've just seen me kicking up my boots for the last, decade. Causing, making sure the county's running right. They have no idea what my history is. And so they were a little, they were a little surprised that a facility of like that I used, right? I talk frequently about my stuff at the Board of County Commissioners. I talk frequently about stuff at different groups, and, about, my history, the, childhood trauma, the adult trauma, a lot of stuff, because I want to make sure people aren't ashamed and people realize that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And if you don't believe me, just walk a different path. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. And you guys have seen me withstand a lot of stuff here on this platform. And I got to tell you, it wouldn't have been a possibility without all of that, So I wish you guys the best. I wish I could do more lives today, but I'm just exhausted. And I hope you guys at least got something from Nina Gomez with Sebastian Rogers. It's not really anything that's bringing him home, but it gives you a little insight, a little history of why we're here. And I hope that you guys go back at least a plain sight and watch that for yourself without my commentary, and just get just listen. That's all I ask, is that you guys go back to Missing in Plain Sight and watch it thoroughly and just listen. I think there's a lot of information in there that we know, but we don't get. Anyways, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, guys, please be safe. And say it with me. Kind to one another. All right, you guys get out of here. Have a great night. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.